Okay, today we are looking at what I call corner of the housetop, and we start with a song. Holy, 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 though the darkness hide thee, though the eye of sinful man thy glory may not see. Only thou art holy, there is none beside thee, perfect in power, love and purity. Some of the golden hymns. Today we're dealing with contention, particularly in the home environment. And the scriptures do have a lot of things to say about, a woman that is quarrelsome or contentious. You see that in Proverbs 21, verse 9. Better to dwell in the corner of a housetop than share a house with a contentious woman. It's better to live in the desert than with a contentious and ill-tempered wife. And Proverbs 19, verse 14, a quarrelsome wife is like constant dripping. This is actually where the word harp, Harp, comes from, which is also referencing like nagging. Actually, if your wife is on your case or a woman is on your case, she can actually go on and on and on and on. And that's why the scriptures actually counsel that it's better to live in the corner of a housetop, of a rooftop, living in the desert than if you have a quarrelsome wife. Of course, the scriptures will counsel about how to, live in peace, and amicably with your wife, but the reality is that if she's, you know, scorned or she's unhappy, you're not going to be happy yourself. In fact, it's better for you not to even be in that particular environment because you keep talking about the issue over and over again, almost like driving you crazy. And this is really where, because I know for some people, they think, if I'm going to make a decision about who it is that I want to get married to, the person has to have this, the shape of you. You need to have this particular shape. You need to reflect, you need to be like a model. And people don't even pay attention to character. And sometimes you get into those kinds of relationship because you wanted a trophy wife. And then the character begins to manifest, and then you realize that she's a very contentious woman. Then it becomes very difficult. In fact, your life becomes like hell on earth. And that's why if you look at Proverbs 15, verse 17, better is a dinner of herbs where love is than a stalled ox and hatred therewith. It's not so much about the possessions that one has. It's just being able to have peace of mind in the home. You might not have, the greatest possessions in the world, but when you have peace at home, you're able to achieve a lot in your life, because you can go back home knowing fully well that, your home is peaceful, there's tranquility. Unlike if your heart is always in your mouth, because you have a very quarrelsome wife, or even a very quarrelsome husband, and then you're not able to have peace at home. And that's why, for those that are seeking to, you know, get married, my best counsel for you is let God favor you with a wife. Because if you look at Proverbs 19, verse 14, a prudent wife is from the Lord. You can actually enjoy the days of heaven on earth. Um, if you're able to pick the right partner, let God direct you. It's not so much leading with your eyes and looks. Let God be the one to pick for you, and you can then begin to enjoy the days of heaven on earth. But of course, if you are married, the scripture is very clear: you must stay married. So I think the counsel I will give here is, even if you have a wife that is very contentious and very quarrelsome, almost driving you to the desert, you need to make that a prayer point so that God can intervene in your home. Because the intention that God has for Christian marriage is for our homes to be a model, of, to reflect Christ here on earth. So make it a prayer point until you see the difference. Divorce is never an option.